again. And I use the term loosely. Look at these two amazingly clean crankcases. These are brought to you by elbow grease, pressure washer, sandblaster, and most importantly, super clean. You want it super clean? Use super clean. Please remember, super clean is not intended for use on polished aluminum. It will damage the finish. But for deep cleaning, dirty, grimy parts, super clean is the way to go.
Let's peruse my bench.
2 projects left over from being gone on vacation. All the parts for these flywheels are here, and this had a Magneto in it. I think all the parts for the Magneto are here. So let's get this knocked out. This Magneto project has been dragging on for weeks. I think it's almost ready to be done. A few days ago, I put in a new magnet from Morris Magneto, one of the neodymium ones. I put in a new set of points, a new condenser, adjusted the points, put the coil in, replaced the wiring, got the built-in kill switch wired up. So the top half of this Magneto is ready to go. This Magneto came with this base on it, and I believe this is panhead, shovelhead type Magneto base. And the owner wants to put it on a Sportster, so he needs a base that looks like this. So, and I know you people think that I go out of my way to rag on V-Twin, but I really don't. They do it to themselves by their shitty f***ing parts. Anyway, I ordered from V-Twin all the stuff to hook the base up. The base, the shaft, the mounting screws for the drive plate, the blanking plug for the tack drive, gasket seals, and the drive gear. Everything came in a box, and in the box was this. And I don't know if the camera will pick this up or not, but notice the dents inside here. What the f***? What the f*** did they do? Did they put the parts in here and then shake it around? You know, the parts were in here, and this is kind of, kind of severe dentage. I mean, it's a nice little tin box. I've got several of these. I use them for, storing stuff in. But Jesus Christ, this thing looks like it's been through a World War II. Not that it matters, but it's indicative of the way the stuff was handled. How hard do you have to rattle something to dent it up like this? Anyway, that's the first thing I noticed. So I unwrap this here, and I unwrap this here. In my total idiocracy of thought, I assumed that these parts would fit correctly. Watch this. There's a step right here where it goes from the spiral cut part of the gear to the straight cut part of the shaft. And this should stop on the upper surface of this bushing. Falls right through. And I hope the camera will pick this up. Look at the slop in this. Do you see that? Let me get it closer for you. Look at the slop in this. In what world is that fucking acceptable? And once again, I have to ask, do the people who make this shit, do they even own a fucking micrometer? If they own it, do they ever fucking use it? Probably not. Well, this is unacceptable. I can't possibly screw this on and give it to the customer with any expectation that it will work well or correctly for any length of time, okay? So this is bad enough. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but the base, this son of a bitch has to be square to the face of the Magneto. If it's not, if it's at an angle, it will bind the shaft. And I'm pretty sure the camera won't pick this up, but I'll try to show you anyway. There is a little bit of rocking back and forth on this thing. Yeah, there it goes. I know you probably can't see that. It's probably no more than 3/1000 of an inch. But this is not sitting flat on the Magneto. So when I tighten these screws, it's going to bind. So I could send it back to V-Twin, and I'm sure they will give me my money back. However, that leaves me without a base. I could hunt eBay and look for a used one, and I've never bought this collection of parts before, so I really had no idea what I was getting into. Chrome, I mean, you're going to chrome it, you know, you think you could have ground and polished it a little bit, but of course they didn't, or they didn't do it very well, one or the other. But anyway, I had no idea what I was going to get. I was hoping that I could get this, put the shaft in, blah, 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 screw it on the Magneto, and be done and ready to test in 5 minutes. But no. Now I've got to jack around with this. Giant pain in the balls. So, well, maybe not a giant pain in the balls, but a pain in the balls. So I'm going to have to do the same thing I did on the other one, is make a bushing that fits this shaft properly. I'm down to my last 2.5 inches of bearing bronze. This will work. It'll be the last bushing I'm probably going to be able to get out of this. I just got on the internet, and I get this stuff at a place called Online Metals, and apparently it's been a long time since I bought a piece. Like a 3/4 inch bar of bearing bronze, a foot long, is $50. And I was thinking, well, I should buy a couple just to have them in stock. I get a 5/8 inch or a 1 inch bar. So you're looking at $100 that I'd have to have sitting around until I need to make another bushing. So I don't think I will. I think I'll just buy it when I actually need it next time. So, I've got work to do, and to finish this project up, screw these things together, stick them on my tester. I kind of allotted in my head like an hour's worth of time, 10 minutes to screw this on, 10 or 15 minutes to get it set up in the lathe, final adjustments and yada yada. I thought it might take an hour. So I'm going to be into at least an hour plus whatever time it takes to make new bushings for the base. So, and as you recall, the last time I used one of their shafts, the hex was not true to the shaft, and I had to regrind the hex. I know the space is not flat on the Magneto, so I'm going to have to chuck it up on the lathe and see what the runout is on this base, and I'm probably going to have to pass a lathe tool over it to flatten it out. So I got to put this in a 4-jaw, check the runout on it. Put this in a 4-jaw, true it up, check the runout on this. Make the new bushings, put it together, hope it doesn't bind. And I'm trying to run a business. This job has been, quoted to the owner for the mag rebuild and putting a new base on it. So basically he's paying for a mag rebuild. Little did I know I'd have to re-engineer this part right here. So I'm going to run a timer on this, and I'm going to see how much extra time it takes to undo V-Twin's shitty or total lack of engineering and or quality control. When will it end with these people? When will it fucking end? Anyway, I'm going to set up, going to start my timer running. I'll bring you along for bits and pieces of it, and I'll show you what's going on, and we'll see how it shapes up. All right, so let's start the stopwatch running, and we'll see how long it takes to undo V-Twin's shitty parts. If I decide to take a nap, I am going to be an old man, and I like to take a nap in the afternoon after lunch. If I do decide to take a nap, I will pause the timer, of course. But anyway, let's see how long it takes to fix this fucking thing. Going to do like I did on the other one. We're going to put a tap into the bushing to knock it out from the other side. It's moving. All right, I need to make a bushing just as long as the as this part of the shaft, so it looks like I got enough meat out here. So let's go out to the dirty shop, measure up a few things, and start machining a bushing. All right, the meter is, of course, running, so to speak. Actually, the forejaw is still on it from the last one of these I did. All right, we're within a couple of 10 thou. All right, I'm happy with that. We're going to check the run out on the face. And let's see what the damages are on the face. 5 thousandths of an inch. Yeah, pretty much 5 thousandths of an inch. So we're going to have to face this off. I got a kind of a big area here that's not touching at all. Running a spring pass back out. Let's throw the indicator back on there and see where we're at. All right, needle barely flickers. Certainly that's within a 10,000th of an inch. All right, so the base is now perpendicular to the shaft and should sit flat on the Magneto. Now, I noticed when I knocked the bushing out that there's actually a step inside here. And the new bushing I'm going to put in needs to go past the step. So I need to get rid of the step. All right, the boring bar, as skinny as it is rubbing on the bore. That won't work. Actually, there's a little bit of the screw hanging out. That might be what's rubbing. I could take that off and see what happens. Let's see if taking that screw off solved the problem. It did. All right, I'm an hour and 5 minutes into this already. I did a couple of 3 more passes off camera. I'm very close to the final diameter that I need, and I've made contact past the step area, so I am engaging the full length of the base right now. I happen to have, just by pure dumb luck, a reamer That's within a couple of thou the size I need. And of course, when I make the bushing, I can make the outside diameter whatever I want. So we're going to try reaming this to final size. I just walked the base over to the Magneto and it fits very flat on the bottom of the Magneto right now. No more wiggle, no more wobble, should be good. So let's make the bushing. All right, I need a bushing that's going to be about 1.5 inches long. I got a little bit more than 1.5 inches sticking out of here. I'm not going to drill all the way through the whole thing, because if I do, the jaws will clamp down on the tube part and distort the hole. So I want to leave some solid metal down here on the bottom to help maintain the shape of the bushing. But for right now, I'm going to center drill this here, and we'll take it out to a pilot size, and then we'll take it out to 7/16, and then we're going to stuff a reamer in there and get it to the final size. And it always helps to tighten the chuck. All right, I've marked the drill bit 1.5 inches down, so we're going to go until the mark is even with the end of the bearing bronze. And now we're going to go in with the 7/16 drill. All right, I'm going to go get the reamer and take this out to final size. Perfect. We'll part this off. Oh no, we'll turn this to outside diameter to size. Next. All right, the bushing right now outside diameter is 0.661. It needs to be 0.605. Will give me a 1,000th interference fit in the mag base. If it closes down any when I squeeze it in, I can always run the reamer through it again. So let's do that. And once again, I hope I don't f this up because this is the last piece of bearing bronze I have. I should be about 0.608 right now. And I am pretty much exactly 0.608. We'll do the spring pass back. And let's part this off. I need about 1.5 inches. Two hours so far. All right, so let's squeeze it on in there. And let's go see if the shaft fits. Okay, base with new bushings. Will the shaft fit? Nice. Notice it doesn't drop all the way through. Notice there is just barely a perceptible wobble in there. I expect I have about 2/1000 of an inch clearance on that bushing. When I open this tin can from V-Twin, this is the part I expected to pull out of there. You know, you know, and I have told this before, you know, you're some guy, your wife's divorced you, she's taken everything you got, you're living on your buddy's couch, you're keeping your bike under the stairway at his apartment building, and you buy this thing. And you hope you could spend the Saturday afternoon putting it in and getting your Magneto time, only to find out V-Twin sold you a f***ed up piece of shit. You don't have a lathe, you don't have a milling machine, you don't have reamers. What are you going to do? You're going to send a son of a bitch back, they're going to send you another one, and it's going to be f***ed up just like the first one. So, 2 hours of my work, and I've got the part that I wanted in the first place. Anyway, we'll put it together, and of course the question now is the hex close enough to the center of the shaft so that when I tighten the screws on this, it won't bind. You know, that remains to be seen. We'll find that out in a minute, but I can tell you this, is this base fits on there perfectly. There's no wobble, there's no extra, you know, 0.003 of an inch that, you know, isn't sitting flat. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. We'll try that out and we'll see what happens. So let's see if we can put the rest of this together with no ill events. Usually the V-Twin taper pins are the wrong size. And it looks like this one is no exception. All right, got it in, got it out. A little too tight to drive in all the way. Fortunately, I have some actual pins from Morris Magneto. And if you look carefully at these, you'll see that they're actually thin rolled metal. They're rolled. And they fit better. All right, I got just a little bit sticking on both sides. That's perfect. And yes, I know, red Loctite is evil, but these screws are so dinky, and you really don't want the Magneto falling off. So we're going to use some red Loctite. Hopefully I won't have to take the base off again. And you've heard me say this concerning engines, but it applies to any rotating thing. Every time I put two rotating things together and tighten a screw, I always make sure they rotate. There's any number of things that will keep a shaft from rotating. Oh, beautiful. That feels nice. Really nice. That's good to go. Oh, and just FYI, all of these Magneto parts, this base and the bits and pieces, except for these that are my colony, I suppose they must have come from Joe Hunt, because it's got a Joe Hunt whatchamacallit, patch in there. I've had my differences with Joe Hunt too. I don't like their mags. I don't think they work that well. I don't use their shit. They sold me a bad coil. And the follow-up to that is, after months, they did send me a replacement coil. So they made good on their bad coil. Took them, 8 weeks, but they made good on it eventually. Plug. We'll put the plug in there. I could grab the cotter pin and bend it over. And that's actually the wrong size cotter pin. Why am I not surprised? Okay, this is the right size cotter pin. All right, everything in here is good. Let's put a cap on it. All right, this mag ready to go. Gotta go clean up my work area by the lathe there, and we'll test this out and see if it throws sparks. I think it will. All right, I got my usual 50 psi air pressure dialed into the spark chamber. Mag is spinning. We'll crank her up a little bit. I'll call that 100 RPMs, 97, 98, pretty close to 100. No spark yet, which is normal. Let's go 125 and see what happens. All right, 126, nothing. Let's go to 150, and we got spark. A little bit intermittent, but spark at 147. That's exceptional performance. Let's just go 175. Good spark. Let's test the kill switch. kill switch kills. A pretty good magneto. This will work fine. And if you recall, a couple of videos ago, this mag had the long shaft on it, and it was producing no spark, zero, zip, nada. So we went from no performance at all to really pretty good performance. So let's just crank up some RPMs on it and make sure it stays good. We'll just dial up 300. Oh yeah, a lot of spark in there. All right, so this mag is a good mag. I'm just going to let it chooch over here for a while, and I think we'll call, yeah, this one's definitely good. Yeah, that's a happy Magneto over there. Yeah, that one will light your fire. You know, the amount of ways V-twin can screw up a part just astounds me sometimes. This is, of course, the Magneto I was working on. Well, today's the next day. So this was the Magneto I was working on yesterday, and I thought I had it all finished up at Spark Good. When I was putting it in my text fixture, I noticed that this was pretty tight in the hole on the test fixture. I really didn't think too much about it, but I'm getting ready to pack this up this morning, and I got to thinking about it. That hole on the text fixture, the fixture that holds it in the lathe, is a little sloppy, to say the least. And this was snug in there. No, actually, this was tight. And I got to thinking about it, and I thought, what if this is too big to actually fit in a cam cover? So I got up this morning, waited for the air compressor blow-off valve to shut off, and decided I better check and do some measuring. And here's what I find out. I got here kind of a beat-up, old, nasty cam cover, and there's no way that's going in there. It ain't even close to going in there. Now, what the by comparison, here is a beat-up old Harley Magneto. A little bit snug, but nonetheless, it pretty much goes right in there. And the little bit snug, I'm going to attribute to that this cover has been chromed, and there's chrome down in there that takes up some of the free play. But nonetheless, this goes in there. This fits nicely. This would be a good fit on this cover. So what? So I decided to take a measurement or two. So here is an unmolested Magneto drive shaft, and it is pretty much exactly 0.740. 0.740. Here is the V-twin mag drive. .755. It's 15 thousandths of an inch too big. So, I had the timer running yesterday, and it took 2 hours to get this drive to a configuration that it's in now. So I guess it's back out to the lathe, and I'm going to have to peel about 15 thousandths of material off of this shaft. When will it end with this company? When will it end? And, I continue to buy their shit. Does anybody else sell reproductions of these? No, they don't. That I'm aware of anyway. Could I buy a used one? Yeah, maybe I could. And I don't know, maybe I should have bought a used one. I don't know. This is not that complicated of a part. You'd hope they'd be able to pull their shit together good enough to make this thing, but they don't. And I have often said about their parts, don't bother chroming this shit for me because I have to machine it, weld it, bend it, whatever. And here's another one. It's chrome. By God, it doesn't fit worth a flying anywhere, but it's chrome. Ah, what fucking junk. All right, I just got back in from the lathe. Peeled about, 15, 13 thousandths off of this mag base. The V-twin mag base. And the diameter is now 0.740, pretty much exactly. Here's a stock HD original mag base. 0.740, pretty much exactly. So now I could screw this back on the Magneto and have every confidence that it will work fine for my customer. I thought I was out of here yesterday, but due to an unfortunate chain of consequences, here I am, working on the same Magneto, thanks to V-twin. But I'm done now. I'm going to screw this back on, get it packed up, and get it out of here, and I am out of here. Thank you all ever so much for watching.
Men, if you like this channel and this content, the single most important thing you could do to help grow this channel is to hit the subscribe button. I also have new design coffee cups and stickers available. I like the old coffee cups, but I like these new ones even more. Links are included in the description down below. And for those of you who really want to go the extra mile, you could join me on Patreon. Link is also included in the description down below. And to all of you who have watched these videos, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you very much. I really, really do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.